Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm Anand Chakabaloo. We've got longtime fools Keith Spites and Carl Teal giving a 1 to 10 rating to biopharma company BridgeBio Pharma, ticker symbol BBIO. We'll talk about the business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Carl, you're at a 7. Keith was at an 8. Go ahead with the lower score.
Yeah, so BridgeBio is what's sometimes called a hub and spoke model biotech, which means they are developing drugs that are kind of all across the board, and then as they advance, they maybe spin them out into separate companies to meet their special needs. But right now, BridgeBio trades almost exclusively on a drug called Attruby, which was just approved a couple months ago. It is for TTR amyloidosis, which is not a disease people know a whole lot about, but it's actually quite common. And suspicions are that there could be over 200,000 people in the US that have this disease. So I think that they are coming out right now with the best-in-class product, potentially. The only reason for maybe I guess a little bit lower than Keith is just that they do have a fair bit of competition. The sort of bull in the space right now is Pfizer with a drug called tafamidis, which is already bringing in billions of dollars a year in sales. Alnylam is a company that's going to be out imminently with another competitive product that works in a different method. Nevertheless, I think BridgeBio is attractively priced, as we'll talk about, and like I said, I think maybe has the best one.
I don't follow BridgeBio as closely as Carl does, but I've been influenced by Carl on this stock. Carl wrote the Motley Fool recommendations for BridgeBio, and I really like what I've seen. I gave the business an 8 because of a few reasons. First, the company's science really just seems rock solid. I like what they're doing clinically. And BridgeBio also has a very diversified pipeline. One of the things that especially intrigues me is BridgeBio's business model. The company will create separate companies to focus on different markets with its drugs. And I kind of like that. That's an intriguing business model.
Let's talk management. A 10 is Warren Buffett. A 1 is Homer Simpson. Keith's giving a 5. Carl, you're giving a 7.
Yeah, I really like Neil Kumar. I think he's done a great job. BridgeBio, while it doesn't have significant products up until just recently, it has had a couple of approvals in its past, and he's managed to do that. He's got a great background. The company was founded by him and with Andrew Lo of MIT. He's a chemistry guy from Stanford and MIT. And part of what I like about him, although it's maybe been a challenge, is that he's really building this company for the long term. He has said before, he's like, right now in biotech, nobody values anything other than M&A and M&A potential. Well, this kind of hub and spoke model, it does make things complicated in terms of being acquired, and he has no interest in selling the company right now. And I actually like that. I think he's really building something for the long term.
Yeah, again, I'm not super familiar with BridgeBio's executive team. I do like that this is a company that's founder led. I love companies that have that characteristic. I gave management a 5 for really a simple reason. I used the stock's performance as a scorecard for management, and a lot of investors do that. And so if we look at what BridgeBio has done, the company has delivered a gain since its IPO in 2019 that's roughly in line with the S&P 500's total return during that same period. And so, if you're basically doing what the market is doing, I gave it a middle of the road 5.
Let's talk financials. A 10 is a fortress. A 1 is yikes. Carl, you're at a 5, but Keith, you're at a 4.
Yeah, so there's good, bad, and ugly with BridgeBio's financial situation. The good is that the company has a nice cash stockpile of over $400 million. That's good. The bad is that the company doesn't have much revenue flowing in at this point. In its latest quarter, Q3 of 2024, the revenue was a whopping $2.7 million. All right. So, the company doesn't have the products to generate revenue yet. The ugly with BridgeBio is that it continues to lose a lot of money. It posted a loss of $177 million in Q3. I do think, even though I've given BridgeBio a low score of 4, this is a score that really could improve dramatically with the launch of the ATTR drug Attruby. So I do think, while I've been very negative, I think this is a score that could jump quite a bit within the next year or two.
Yeah, and I'm just a little bit higher. I mean, I totally agree with Keith that this is the Achilles heel of the company right now. It's not got the greatest balance sheet. It is a little better than it looks at first glance. They just got a $500 million infusion from Blue Isle Capital as part of the approval of Attruby that isn't really showing up. They're going to get another, I think it's $100 million that goes along with European approval. So they're really going to have a much better balance sheet with which to launch. They're also going to spend a ton of money on it. And, it's going to be a little while before, we see cash flow coming to break even. So, yeah, I mean, I can only give them a 5.
Keith, let's talk valuation. How well will BridgeBio stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10 is a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
I suspect that BridgeBio could deliver an average gain of greater than 15% over the next 5 years with Attruby on the market and some pipeline progress. Now, such a strong performance is not a sure thing, of course, but I do like the potential for Attruby enough to give it a safety score of 6.
Yeah, and I am really looking for them to do better than 15%. 15% would have them at a market cap of about $13.5 billion in 5 years. Their sort of lowball estimate for Attruby sales is $4 billion, and they're hoping for potentially up to like $8 billion, which would make $13.5 billion a very, very, especially in the drug industry, that would be a very, very low multiple. I think they could do better than that. So, and that's, and we haven't really talked about their pipeline at all, but it includes 3 late stage products, all of which could be blockbusters. So, I really like the valuation right here, but it is risky. Obviously anything that's in the pipeline, you can't count on that. And Attruby, there's a changing competitive market. There's some dynamics with Pfizer patents that could also influence things. So I gave them a safety score of 5.
Everyone's favorite topic. Carl, is there a company in BridgeBio space that you like better?
There's a lot of companies in this space. So again, I'm sticking to this space because there are a lot that are specifically going after TTR amyloidosis because it is thought to be a $20 billion opportunity over the next several years. And so that includes Ionis, that includes Alnylam, that includes Intellia. These are all companies I do actually like quite a bit. But specifically in this TTR space, for the valuation, I like BridgeBio the best of them.
Yeah, and I expanded my horizon to look at biotech stocks in general. And I do like BioNTech, the ticker there's BNTX, a little better. Like BridgeBio, it has one approved product on the market. Of course, everybody knows it's the COVID vaccine that BioNTech markets with Pfizer. But I do think BioNTech's cash stockpile and its pipeline potential make this particular stock a steal right now.
Thank you to both Keith and to Carl. They've given BridgeBio an all right overall score of 6.7 out of 10 with high upside, but also high risk. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Novocure. Till then, Fool on.